In mid-October of 1964, kissing cousins Elizabeth and Philip paid a royal visit to a Catholic residential school for Aboriginal children in Kamloops, British Columbia, Canada. William Coombs was 12 years old at the time of the royal visit. "I was an inmate at the Kamloops school when we were visited," said Coombs. "I remember it was strange because they came by themselves, no big fanfare or nothing. But I recognized them, and the school principal told us it was the Queen, and we all got given new clothes and good food for the first time in months the day before she arrived. The day the Queen got to the school, I was part of a group of kids that went on a picnic with her and her husband and some of the priests. We went down to a meadow near Dead Man's Creek. I remember it was weird because we all had to bend down and kiss her foot, and she was wearing a white lace boot. After a while, I saw the Queen and her husband leave the picnic with 10 children from the school, and those kids never returned. They took away those 10 kids and nobody ever saw them again. We never heard anything more about them, and we never met them again even when we were older. They were all from around there, but they all vanished." The group that disappeared was 7 boys and 3 girls in age from 6 to 14 years old. They were all from the smart group in the class. 2 of the boys were brothers, and they were Métis from Quesnel. Their last name was Arnoux, or Arnold. I don't remember the others, just an occasional first name like Cecilia, and there was an Edward. What happened was also witnessed by my friend, George Adolph, who was 11 years old at the time and a student there too. But he's dead now. William Coombs, the sole survivor, was scheduled to appear as the star witness at the International Tribunal into Crimes of Church and State in London, England. But William Coombs never made it to the tribunal. He died of unknown causes shortly before he was scheduled to testify. Reverend Kevin Annett, a former minister of the United Church of Canada, believes that William Coombs was murdered to stop him from speaking out about the royal abductions and other crimes of murder and torture that he had witnessed at the school.
In a nutshell, what happened was I was letting people speak from the pulpit about the crimes I'd seen in the residential school, the murders and that. I also found out about the land deals that were happening where the church was selling off native land to big logging companies for kickbacks. And I wrote a letter about that to the church. I was fired without cause and eventually thrown out of the church without any due process at all. But that one thing led to another, and I began to work a lot more with the survivors after that, the eyewitnesses to these crimes.
Basically, lobbying is the preferred mean of exerting political influence in rich countries, and then corruption in the poor countries. But when you say who are the lobbyists, if you take the Prime Minister David Cameron's former spin doctor, he heads the list of 19 Tory MPs who have been lobbyists. So, there's a connection here, and here you can see how they basically all work together. Lobbying doesn't always take the form of bribes or even campaign contributions. In many cases, lobbyists have expertise that politicians don't have, and can influence politicians by providing endorsements or by threatening to provide voters with damaging information about them or their policies. You have to understand there's very senior politicians in government who are controlled because of the money they're taking from these fake oil, gas and mining companies. Their names are listed. There's forensic evidence that exposes all this. I am an eyewitness to only a fraction. And these companies have been extracting the assets of the UK Treasury into offshore accounts, into the Channel Islands, the Falkland Islands, Panama, all all across the world. And that's where that's what's been happening to the tax money of the UK taxpayers. You know, you have to understand that most of these MPs are promoted because there is evidence of corruption, and in a lot of cases, we've heard of accusations of paedophilia. So when you have this sort of information on politicians, you've got them in the palm of your hand. You control them. That's what's happening with British politics as we speak. Well, I think the most important thing out of all of this is you've got the biggest fraud in UK history, and the public do not know a thing about it because of the controlled media in the UK.